Welcome everybody to an episode of Against All Odds. I am your host, Ma Dee, and today our special guest is Coach Tutt. Welcome Coach Tutt to the podcast, everybody. How are you doing today, Coach?
I'm good. I'm blessed.
That's
Highly blessed, highly favored.
That's wonderful. Is it okay if I call you Coach, or what would you prefer?
It don't matter.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all good with me.
All right. Well, got some questions for you today. And the first one is, what made you decide to join the effort of Against All Odds? Like, what made you want to be a part of this?
Cass presented it to me. And for me, when it comes to positivity, I'm just with all the positive stuff. Growing up, we come from the native, and I'm just in a place where now I just want peace, positivity, and if it's not something good, I just don't want to be part of it. So when he came to me and kind of gave me a rundown on what he was looking for, I'm like, I'm with it, and it's a way for me to give back to the community, right? Growing up, we don't think or take into account what we're doing in the community when we live in that lifestyle. So for me, this is kind of my way of giving back of what I've taken from.
Okay.
And same thing with training, like training the kids with the boxing thing. It's just me giving back.
What does Against All Odds mean to you?
Against all odds, for me, basically means the world is against you, but you still are determined to succeed, right? So no matter, because life will throw some boomerangs at you, and sometimes life will be against you, people will be against you, and when you transcend past the hurdles that life present to you, past the people that's against you, right? That's against all odds. Like, they're the odds, right? And I'm going against that, and I'm persevering. I'm making it through. That's against all odds for me, right? Getting through the negativity, getting through the stresses of life, getting through the financial hardships when they come, like things like that. People being against you, or what you choose to do, or mad at you because you choose not to do something. You're going against the grain.
Okay.
So whenever you go against the grain, that's going against the odds, and then you surpass that. So yeah, that's what that means for me.
Okay. And could you highlight on what that means for like Compton?
For us, man, Compton has always had this dark cloud over it. And I say that because there was a time when we had the highest killing rate, and we so small. It's 100,000 people here. How we get the highest killing rate? The way that people looked at us as a city, right? A lot of people, and it used to frustrate me when I was younger. People, are you from LA? I'm not from LA. I'm from Compton. We have our own everything, right? And people didn't understand the difference. But the way that the world looked at us, because of NWA and the rappers that came out of here, they looked at us a certain way. So when I would meet people, even as far as Long Beach, they're like, ain't no way you from Compton, because I don't talk the way that, I don't talk with slang talking. I talk how I talk. And then I used to say cuz, but I kind of took that out of my vocabulary. Still working on the word nigga, but these are things that I try to go against. But when it comes to Compton as a whole, the way that people look at us because of the rappers, and we have to have a certain stigma for some reason. I don't know what it is, but it's like a person to say I'm from Compton that automatically make you tough, and that's not true at all, because there's busters everywhere. There's busters in Compton. There's busters all over the world, but for some reason I don't understand it. we had that cloud like we just the toughest on earth, and that's just not it. We got dudes that tell out here too. We got dudes this soft, you know. We just like any other city, but for some reason we just everybody think that we supposed to be this super tough city, and it's not like that at all. Like we got families, we got love. It's the stigma that holds that dark cloud when people just assume that we just so tough. And you know, prison too. We go to jail, we kind of stick together. And you know, in all honesty, dudes know we not going for nothing. You know, in prison it's a different story. But a lot of people still look at us and are against us. Some say it, some don't. You know, but it's just that dark cloud. Like for some reason we got to get past it. You know.
Well, do you think that, would you say, because when I think of Against All Odds, I think of that as well, but I also think of like, I'll just use my son for example, the 33-year-old, right? Even though I didn't raise him in Compton, but like there are a lot of single moms, teen moms, drug addict moms who are having children, gang affiliated moms, right? And dads who aren't there. And so these children, many of them who are in the generations of, you know, some of our children, right? They were born with the odds against them. So it's the same thing, against our odds. So do you think when it comes to the communities of Compton, whether it be from our generation or before, whatever, like just growing up in like gang infested areas, things like that, does that make Compton youth more vulnerable to being against all odds, opposed to when we ask the question about, you know, where your children are, how you let your children go to malls and things like that, and you're like, they far from here, right? Well, what about the children who are here? Do you feel that just they are against all odds just being in the city of Compton?
Absolutely. We against, listen, the city of Compton against all odds has always been, that's that dark cloud, right? When it come to our children, our youth, again, they have to portray this tough road when it's really unnecessary. But then you got to think, just being black, you against all odds. In that sense of the matter, being Hispanic, you against all odds. A person of color, we are against all odds from birth, right? But when it comes to the community of Compton itself, our youth are holding on to the older dudes, what they had. I mean, you got dudes that's fighting a 30-year war, and they wasn't even born 30 years ago. You understand what I'm saying? From these neighborhoods, they have no idea why they don't even like each other. They hear the stories. Half of them don't even know the stories because the older dudes is gone, and 90% of the dudes that created that beef is not even living anymore. However, you got our kids that's fighting this war that we inherited, they inherited, and now their kids inherit. And it's bad because you have our children killing each other, and we be friends. And that's unfortunate because, like, I may be friends with this dude, grew up with this dude, and he and I have no problems. Our neighborhood's not even beefing at the time, and in our children, this one killed that one, and you're just like, damn. You know, how do you tell a person that you grew up with that, damn, my neighborhood did something to his son? I had it happen to me before, so for me, it was really hard for me to call, because it's my friend. I'm going to call him and, bro, I got your back. I'm sorry that happened to you. I want to say all that, but how do you do that when this is his son in the hospital on his deathbed, and your neighborhood is responsible for that? So, for me, our juveniles, our youth, our community, are definitely against all odds from birth, especially being from Compton, where they have taken everything from us. We don't have no youth centers anymore. We don't have after school programs. We don't have nothing. Like when I was growing up, at least we had that. We had Salvation Army, go play basketball. We had youth centers where we go shoot caroms and things like that. We have no youth, nothing anymore in Compton, and it's unfortunate. They took away, which they finna bring back, but they took away the music stuff from the kids. When I was growing up, at least we was able to explore music. They had classes for music. They don't have none of that no more. Everything that was created to better us, our youth, our children, in the society, in the city, has been stripped away.
And why do you think that is so?
I mean, they trying to get us up out of here. They want their city back.